Okay, so hello everyone. We are from Group 5 and we're gonna present our topic, the importance of being earnest. Next. So these are our members. Next. Okay, so the synopsis on Act 1, Jack Worthing is best friend with Algernon Moncrief. Jack confesses that he's been living a double life. He pretends to be his fictional brother Ernest and pretends to be Ernest when he wants to escape his responsibilities. Jack is in love with Gwendolyn Fairfax, the cousin of his best friend. However, when Jack proposed to Gwendolyn, he is forced to reveal his true identity and the fact that he is a foundling who was left in a handbag at the train station. This revelation disturbed Lady Bracknell, Gwendolyn's mother, who insists that Jack produce at least one parent before she consents to the marriage. On Act 2, Algernon arrives in the Jack's place under the identity of the non-existent brother Ernest. He falls in love with Jack's wife, Cecily Cardew. With the arrival of Lady Bracknell and Gwendolyn, chaos ensues as it is discovered that Miss Prism is the absent-minded nurse who 20 years ago misplaced the baby of Lady Bracknell's brother in train station. Thus, Jack, whose name is indeed Ernest, is Algernon's elder brother, and the play ends with the two couples married and got their happy ending. Next. Okay, so the exposition is on Act 1, introduce the main character, Jack Worthing, that pretend to be Ernest that he used while he was in town. And he also reveals that the name Ernest is his non-existent younger brother. He wants to marry a girl named Gwendolyn Fairfax, but her mother doesn't approve since he has to know who his parents really are. Next.
Okay, the conflict for display is when Lady Bracknell refuses Jack's proposal to marry her daughter, Gwendolyn, because she doesn't think Jack is socially acceptable due to his lack of parentage. The evidence of this conflict in the Act 1 when Lady Bracknell said, I feel bound to tell you that you are not down on my list of eligible young men. The second conflict is both Jack and Algernon lie about their true identity. They introduce themselves as a man who named Ernest. The evidence of this conflict is when Algernon introduces himself as Ernest. You in Act 2. You have always told me it was Ernest. I have introduced you to everyone as Ernest. The third conflict is the conflict between the woman's desire to marry men whose names are Ernest. Next.
So I will explain about the rising action of the story. So Gwendolyn and Cecil mistakenly believe they are engaged to the same man named Ernest, which results to in a misunderstanding between the two women. So you can see in the act 2, it is shown in the dialogue when they meet each other. So Gwendolyn said, Ernest proposed to me exactly 10 minutes ago, and Cecily replied with, it is certainly very curious, for he asked me to be his wife yesterday afternoon at 5:30. If you would care to verify this incident, pray do so. Next.
Okay, for the climax is when it was revealed that Jack and Algernon were not people named Ernest. In Act 3, Scene 1, Cecily said, why did you pretend to be my guardian's brother? And Gwendolyn said, what explanation can you offer me for pretending to have a brother? From this Act 3, then both Jack and Algernon were forced to admit the truth to Gwendolyn and Cecily that they are not people named Ernest. Next.
So the following action is it is when the tension of the story begins to dissolve and the drama of the plot winds down. So it happens when Gwendolyn and Cecily find out that they are going to marry the same Ernest. But turns out that Jack and Algernon admit that they both were not named Ernest. So both Cecily and Gwendolyn refuse to marry them because they feel deceived. And both Jack and Algernon try to convince Gwendolyn and Cecily to forgive them. Finally, Cecily forgives Algernon and want to marry him. And then the last one, next. And then the resolution. It is the final plot point that concludes the story and answers the unresolved question. So finally, Lady Bracknell gives her permission for Algernon to marry Cecily, and Lady Bracknell meets again with Miss Prims, which is her ex-maid, and Miss Prims tells the truth that she left the baby, which is Algernon's brother, in a railway station in a handbag, and turned out that baby was Jack and that his real name was Ernest. And I think that's all from our group explanation. Thank you.